Okay, I apologize, everyone. Novice in this. So anyway, but the readathon has all these awesome incentives for kids to join, and the more they join, whoever, what happens is that they advertise on Facebook and you do emails, and they'll say, hey, you got so and so doing a readathon. In the process of the readathon, excuse me, the whoever gives a donation, they turn around and they mark how much the donations is. In the process of getting all those donations or monetaries, they number the minutes of how much you read. So if you're reading like 30 minutes a day or 60 minutes a day or whatever, they monitor that, and then they have an admin that puts in the information, and they put it in, and they give a list of who's doing more, what class is doing. So it's a whole school initiative. It's not just one class, it's the whole school. So it's a really, really great program. And I think, don't get me mistaken, I believe you get 45 to 55% of profit for those donations to the school. And then they send you, and then they have the kids, they'll email the kids and email the parents. And like, say, for example, they get to pick on how much points they got for prizes. So my son was in it, and he got one of those gaming headphones. So he was so excited. But that was his gift from his donations and gifts for him just reading. So just a major incentive into literacy. But I mean, I have information about it if you want to go further, if you decide if you wanted to try that at your school or anything or organization, I can share that with you. And it's very, very, very easy. They give you YouTube channels to look at and things of that nature. So very good. Hi, Aaron. Welcome to the room. I apologize. I want to invite you inside the room. Okay. Okay. So, is there anything anybody want to say before we close? Because it's 7:16. We don't have quorum. Don't want to waste anybody's time. Can't really do much, but I thank you. So, Mr. Cullen?
You could hold the meeting still, or just you wouldn't be able to vote anything. So I guess that's up to the discretion of your committee.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so hi, Aaron. I just wanted to welcome you in the room. How you doing?
Good, thank you. Sorry, I was also washing some dishes while I was listening to you.
Listen, no problem. Life, family. Well, it depends on what everybody wants to do. We can stay and talk about the agenda a little bit. My goal was to talk about voting, recording secretary, and if there was any subcommittees that wanted to be developed, all the administrative stuff to get that stuff out the way. But because we don't have quorum right now, we can't vote. So, but we can go over the agenda if anybody's interested.
I guess I have some questions generally, but I also don't want to waste people's time.
Okay, go ahead. I mean, we could just, if nobody doesn't say anything, that if nobody doesn't say anything, that's honest no.
So, and what is quorum, Naomi?
Collard could answer that for you. What's quorum?
I mean, like, what is the amount that we need for quorum?
You need a half of how many committee members you have. So yeah, just 50% of how many committee members you have to be
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, and how many do we have?
Excuse me, wait a minute, excuse me. I can answer that because it's 3 of us and the member at large. So any questions like that, that'll come to the chair, to me, so we can make sure that we have order, because we have to have order and everything. So thank you for the question. Hi, Nicholas Allamore. Nice to see you, member at large.
Hi, how are you?
I'm interested as always.
Okay.
Thank you for coming. Do you have any reports for our lovely committee?
Yeah, I'm hoping to get this committee involvement in the schoolyard. So hopefully we'll get to talk a little bit about that today.
Can you just explain what the schoolyard is? I don't know if they're familiar because I didn't explain.
Oh, you didn't do it. Okay, I think we started last year with a committee. We're exploring with an official committee exploring to bring some art within the schoolyard. I think the whole idea came from a conversation we had with you regarding PS 221, where we were interested in doing murals in the various schoolyard that truly represent the school. So last year we had a couple of people that met, and then we've been trying to formulate together an activity and a proposal to meet with the school, find out what they would like to do, and try to develop murals using an organization like Groundswell or any others, or local artists. So we can have murals that reflect the school, like for example, PS 221, which is the Toussaint Louverture School. From what I understand, the information I've gotten from you, I think you're PTA president over there, right? Or you were?
I was, but I
You were
pushed
last
for,
year.
yeah, I pushed for that, I pushed for a new mural. Yes, I did.
Right, so we're taking up this idea and running away with it and see what we can do. And the whole concept to come to see, let's look at all the school within the community board and we try to do at least 1 million each year for as many of the schools. So it will be a joint project with the Park Recreation Department, the Education Department, the school, and the community at large. So we did have a small meeting today with a few of the people. And I mean, it was supposed to be last week, but it didn't take place. But we had a short meeting today and we're trying to reconvene. So we're asking people interested in joining us to formulate. So what I'm going to need based on that meeting is to set up a meeting with the schools, a meeting and a visit in the school to see what can we generate. Because it should be collaborative. The work of the student and particularly the art teacher in that school and their student, then we're going to get a very well-known artist, an organization, and we probably will have to talk to the elected to get funding to do so. So that's the idea. I'm hopefully by December, we could have a joint meeting between the two committees, the Park Recreation and Culture Committee and Education, where we will put together a plan to do that. So what I'm looking at is that we would like to plan for the winter and get something started in the spring. So that's the idea. Like for example, Toussaint Louverture School, I don't see anything represented Toussaint Louverture in that school from what I understand, both outside except the name. So the large mural over there should be somewhat representing that, and hopefully we could get the kids to get involved. Not only you could have art inside the school, but also outside in the outside mural. So I think this is a worthwhile project for this committee to work with.
Thank you, Mr. Nicholas Allamore. So this is something that I was getting ready to present also because I used to be on the Parks and Recreation committee about last year.
Yes.
And last year, right? And
Yes.
I know some local artists that does beautiful paint artwork. They have came to our first annual community gathering, and she was there. Her name is Jessica. I forget her last name, and
Simon.
she did some. I'm sorry, what?
Simon, Jessica Simon.
Yeah, Jessica Simon. Her work is now featured in Home Goods.
Mhm.
So she is a local artist from this area who started selling her paintings out of her stroller. So she's she's doing really well, and I'm very proud of her. But this is something that I wanted to talk about probably later on down the line, because everything is not cemented or
No.
together. And wanted to just let Mr. Allamore, who's our member at large for Community Board 9, and let everybody know in this committee that we do have some collaborations that are being worked on by myself to have a bigger opening in whatever we decide that we want to do. So thank you, Mr. Allamore.
You're welcome.
No, thank you so much. Thank you for visiting. So let me see. So I'm gonna share my screen again, okay? All right, so welcome. A CB9 readathon. First, what does everybody think about having a readathon? First of all, everybody on the line. Anybody, somebody.
Yeah, I'm interested to learn more.
Okay. All right. So with a readathon, it can be different. It can turn into different things, but this can be our first, one of our first goals to achieve we're having throughout the community board. One of the bullets is CB9 could solicit student participation by reaching out to principals. Does anybody have any ideas about that, or is that all right?
Yeah, I mean, I think that makes sense. Principals, I'm also curious. I know we're part of our community board district. Our city council person, Rudy Joseph, is a former teacher, and I'm
Yes.
curious how many schools that they may know, including their former school, because I think you had mentioned when you described it a few minutes ago that it's like a whole school thing, that a lot of people do it within a school building. And if there's a way for us to like adopt a school or support a school for them to do the whole thing. And if there's a way of like, do we know, or maybe we know folks on the community board that work in some schools that could be, that they could ask their principals, things like that. But yeah, I think it's a great idea.
Okay. Maureen, I know you had some questions for me too. I didn't forget. I mean, I'm Maureen. I'm sorry, not Miss Maureen. Erin, I apologize. Erin?
Yeah, I guess my question was just sort of like, what do you see as the community board's role? And what would be, is this a program that exists that we just kind of like get people involved into, or is it the kind of thing that like we have to like find money for the prizes and that kind of thing?
Well, I mean, it all depends, because I have received some information on it, but I want to make sure I'm clear with everything on it before we start talking about logistics. What do they get? What are the incentives? So I'm not really sure if we can do something with the community itself, like gift cards for food or different places. I mean, we can go from different ways on how we want it done. So, I mean, we don't have everybody here, but just an idea, just to throw some ideas, bounce some ideas off of each other. And, if that's the case, we can do that. Now, one of the things, because we're education and library, there's a big deficit with our library. So maybe we can think about going with a library, or pick a library that can go in conjunction with the area or school that we want to work with for the readathon. So use the books from the library, and then the school and the library can get together. I mean, so What do you think about that?
So, sorry, so, I mean, I think that, I guess it's just, I guess my question is just sort of how much organization needs to happen in order for us to move forward with the readathon? Because it sounds like there's outreach to principals, but there's also, my question is like, is this an existing program that we buy into, that we like, not buy into, but like participate in, or is this something we have to create?
Everything that we're doing, we're creating. So as I said, last month in our first soiree, that this is a creative team, and because it's still young, it can go any which way. Now with the readathon, we can get something where we don't have to reinvent the wheel, but truth be told, the community board is working on having a 501c program. 501c, so we can have some fundraisers with our committees. But that might not be until like maybe next year. It might not, I don't know exactly when. So I don't know if, from my understanding from the last community board meeting, I was in, and they said the executive meeting, and we talked about fundraisers. They're not ready to do that or receive monies like that because it's a community-based thing. So, I mean, I can ask to see if I can find out any more transparent I can give you to that question, because the takeaway for me was that we don't deal with money, period. That was the takeaway. So I don't want to answer that because I'm not really sure on how to answer that, but do my best to answer that.
Okay, that's helpful.
Mhm. So, and another question is like monitoring a student's reading. We can get, that's always where you can get data from different schools within District 17 to find out, but specific students, I know there's a confidentiality clause with that. So I mean, these are just a couple of ideas that was being bounced around in my head and just wanted to share. Maybe have also a focus theme genre or focus theme for the community for what kind of readathon want to achieve. Maybe it can be about, if you live close to the Botanic Gardens, it could be about birds and butterflies and trees. I don't, depending on where you live or what is your community, we can focus on those, whoever wants to participate.
I have an idea, and probably more questions too, but I think like, schools are all have different priorities and are, encouraging kids to read in different ways and probably monitoring using different systems.
Right.
But I really like the idea of partnering with the library and maybe as a way to connect schools to things that are already happening at the library, or even like as a principal, I can say, I don't know all the things that are that kids and families can access at the libraries. And I wonder if like, instead of, I don't see us playing the role of like monitoring student reading. Like, I think that's on the schools, schools and families part, but maybe it is, there's like a beginning of, there's like an event, a reading event for kids where, I don't know, there's some kind of draw to the library. And then that is like the launch of some kind of reading challenge. And then there's an end of whatever, there's like a beginning and an end. And
Mhm.
kids have a way of coming back and sharing how much they've read, or
Mhm.
there's like a prize or multiple prizes,
Right.
or maybe, I don't know, maybe there's like book talks with the author, with authors, and
Mhm.
there's a shared text. I don't know. There's a lot that we could do, but I think, utilizing the resources of the library, and also knowing that schools are all have their own systems, could be one way to approach it.
What you think, Jamie?
No, I like the idea of involving the library. I think that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, so, so I do think there's a lot of different ways to kind of go about that, and not to get too far down the line in the agenda, but that you also talk about the participatory budgeting process. And I think that's also a way to demonstrate our like beliefs in libraries and education and reading and things. So I think there's another way to kind of bridge that too, but yeah.
What you think about it, Miss Aaron?
Yeah, I was just gonna agree that I think I agree. I think we should, I think even focusing on, how, like, I was gonna propose writing some kind of the participatory budget proposal, because I know proposals are being solicited now for, to help fulfill this request from the Crown Heights Library will be important. And then, yeah, I think kind of figuring out how we can maybe serve as a bridge between libraries and schools is a really great idea.
Well, I'm glad everyone is on the same page so far. So far. But this participatory budget for the Crown Heights Library, they're in dire need of repairs and things of that nature. And it's and it's in our community. Now, does the committee want to help this process? I can get more information. Crown Heights Library, there's 3 libraries in this lovely community. On my side, I live next to Utica Avenue. You have the Eastern Parkway Library. On across the street from the 71st Precinct, down the block, is the Crown Heights Library. So those are the 2 libraries, small libraries, that are in this whole area of Community Board 9. But then we have the big library at Grand Army Plaza. Now, the smaller libraries are suffering because a lot of people don't use the libraries as frequent as they used to. But the library has a lot of classes for people who, if you want to get a job, a GED, they also have, I think they have some second language classes, if I'm not mistaken. I took a free food handlers class from the library. So, I mean, they have a lot of things in the library, and the libraries are not being utilized as before because a lot of people go to their phones. Nobody's reading anymore. Everybody lives in a bubble, So, I mean, I love books for myself. So, one of my biggest escapes was the library. I used to stay in the library and read all the time, anything I could put my hands on, because it gives you a beautiful imagination. But sad to say that a lot of our children are not reading because they don't do phonics and hooked on phonics worked for me. That was the thing, and Schoolhouse Rock and conjunction junction, what's your function, but they don't do those things anymore. So reading has become very null. You have audio, don't get me wrong, I love a good audio book, but I mean, it's not the same as taking the words and putting it to paper and thinking about what it looked like in your head. But everybody's not on the same page. So the library even has reading assistance if you need some literary assistance. And they have that. So I mean, I love the library, and I think that is a open up the best thing. So if we want to help with this process, I can get more information on it. And now we're up to open discussion. If anybody's, have any discussions, open or closed. Okay, I see no discussion, so I'm gonna discuss something. I had an idea for one of an event if we wanted to think about it. I wanted to see what does everybody think about having a small tea party with iced tea for the elementary schools within, or maybe one or two elementary schools, to see how it works with the PTAs, because we want to get everybody included in the library situation as well. So what do y'all think about a nice tea party for maybe two elementary schools? With iced tea, not hot tea. Anybody? Somebody? Nobody?
Naomi, are you referring to to get schools involved in the readathon,
Yes.
or as something separate?
No, we can do where we can introduce some etiquette to our elementary school children with the readathon, to present it, just to see how we want to do it, because we can do it. It's any way with creativity. We can be as creative as possible, because we want people to feel welcome to come into working with us. So I mean, like a nice little, nothing big, just something very intimate. See if they want to, we can start from school to school, or make a couple of schools, or it's just throwing some things out there. That's it.
I guess my question would be sort of the goal. One thought that I had after last month's meeting was, it seems like we maybe could benefit from talking to some PTA presidents and principals to better understand what some of the needs of the schools are in our district.
Yes.
And sort of like maybe even since this is a newer committee, even taking this this fall to maybe do like a listening. I wonder if we could even host an event that's a little bit more targeted towards those leaders, or like a couple different leaders, like the way that Crystal Hudson does like coffee every other Saturday. I wonder if like we could host coffees like once a month, and invite some of those leaders into that, so that we can kind of better understand what the needs are, which would then help us come up with more directed ideas about how we can support the district.
Well, I'm glad you said that. I'm really glad, because my first invitation to come to our committee meeting is the superintendent of District 17. Also, the President's Council President, Veronica Clark, for District 17. So what I'm doing is that, number one, I have some goals that I would like to do, right? But we have to work as a consensus, because we are a team. One of my things, an idea that I also had, wait, let me stop there. What happens is that I know we came up with some goals and some things that we had said last month, right? But what I do know is that my goal is to help and assist what was given to me on the first night, which is, I'm not sure who's in what position, what position of education. So I'm gonna make sure that they come to the table. So we have invitations, and I have some questions to go over with you as well. But we don't have a full board, and it's just that I don't want it to seem like it's impartial if we have 4 members here and we go over questions and answers and nobody and the other people that were apart didn't get a chance. So, I mean, I have some questions for the superintendent that you might be satiated in. You might want to add some more to my questions. And it's including some data information and stuff like that to question her. But we're in process of they have an invitation to find out what date are they available for November. So it's coming, quickly approaching. Please just give me a chance to spread my wings. That's all I'm saying.
Naomi, if you can just make me host when you have a chance.
Okay. Miss Erin, is that okay?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's great to hear from the superintendent. I think I'm just wondering if there's some additional outreach that this board could potentially do to talk to a broader swath of folks in the district. But I
Well, I
appreciate
mean-
you making that effort.
Yeah, we hold on. Colleen, I'm messing. I don't know how to make you host again, bro. Hold on. Excuse me 1 second. I'm so sorry. I see. Do something. Do I go into the more?
The participants, and then you click
Okay.
my name, well, the
Okay,
community
darling.
board, and then
Okay, I got you.
all
Thank
right.
you so much. Okay,
Hi, Mom.
okay. Hi, baby. I mean, it's sweetheart.
Okay.
Okay, but yes.
I'm watching something. I'm not playing games.
Okay, no problem, my darling. I'm sorry that my child. What I was gonna say is that yes, we have. I have a lot of invitations for a lot of people to come and speak their piece from everything that I heard from the first day that we met. So I am working on some people coming. So hope if I had sent an invitation through the district office for Superintendent Lindsay. She's the superintendent of the whole District 17. I had sent an invitation out to Veronica Clark, who is the President's Council President of all the PTA. So all PTA presidents, they are under her, and she said, and she can address some PTA things and probably give us some resources on what PTAs and what area we wanna divulge or delve into. I have also another person that I'm inviting, Community Education Council 17. That is a council that works on zoning and different budgets for different things for education. So we have some invitees coming, but before we have them come, we got to lay some ground rules too, because we don't want to look like we're not a committed committee. I'm very, one thing about me, I take my name and my persona very seriously. So anything that says Naomi Baptiste is going to be excellence, period. And this is volunteer work. This is service. So anytime I can walk away, because this is not, I don't get paid for this. We pay in time, not in monetary. So for me, this is a service to my community and a service to my children, because the education system is really not looking too good for our children. Not looking too good, especially if you have a child who is a special needs child. But that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. But what I'm going to do now is that if there's any comments, questions, or concerns, we will start to get ready to close our meeting. So any comments, questions, concerns?
I just want to agree with what Aaron shared about listening to folks and hearing more about the needs of people on the ground in schools. And yeah, I think our work, I joined the committee mid-year last year, and it felt a little bit like unfocused. It was like, it was lovely. There were nice events, but it didn't feel like we were focused on serving an actual need in the community, which is my understanding of what we're doing. So it could be interesting to, yeah, to hear from more voices. And it sounds like you're working on bringing a number of people in, Naomi, which is awesome. And yeah, it might be helpful to hear from folks on the ground in schools as well.
What I'm thinking of also, if we want to do a listening tour, I don't really know what that's going to look like. So Aaron, if you would love to, you can spearhead that. If that's what you want, you can spearhead that. But now what does that look like? I'm not sure. So since you came up with that idea, that is your baby. So if you want to spearhead that, you can. And how we go about it, I'll come and bring you back the information if that's what you want to do.
I would love some support on that. I don't know that I can singularly spearhead, but if there are others that would like to chat with me outside of this meeting about what that might look like, and we could come back to the committee with a proposal next time, I'm happy to do that.
As I said before, my goal for what time do we have? My goal for this committee under my tutelage is to really bring something to the table. And I know that people have tried, but because it gets so creative, sometimes we, depending on who's who, we can get deterred from the real mission. So I would like to say that if there's anything that anyone wants to do or doing, we can do it. It's just that we just have to make sure that we go through the parameters of what we want to do. So I like a listening tour. It sounds good to me, but now how did that come about? I'll help you the best way I can. And like I said, what we can do is we can collaborate, because I also want to work on collaborating with this lovely community board, because how could you have 8 arms and you can't use all of them all at the same time? So let's start talking about collaborating with other committees on the community board on how we can work together to get some things done. So if we have education and library on this side, but there's a zoning issue on another side, we might can collaborate with zoning and find out if zoning can stretch out something to help make some more room for something else. Or go to Parks and Recreation and find out how do we want to bring the kids to the Botanic Gardens, because they do have community free tickets for certain events. And a lot of people don't know that, but the Parks and Recreation Committee don't speak to the Education and Library Committee, and you have all these free tickets to community events that your community has, and because they don't speak to each other, they don't know who can help who. So I'm a person that like to work behind the scenes, and I don't really make excuses. I only bring results. So if you say you want to do listening tour, I will get you all the tools on the listening tour and support you as much as I can. But like I said, this is the volunteer work. So make sure that people have to put they work to the butt. Go ahead, Aaron.
Sorry, hold on one second.
Okay.
Sorry, I have someone coming to pick something up real quick. I might have to pause this thought. I apologize, I'll be right back. But I just wanted to say that I hear 3 takeaways from the meeting today. One is, to think more about the listening tour. And like I said, I would love to any volunteers to help me think through that. I really appreciated what Nicholas proposed in terms of the murals. It sounds like there's a need there and that he's got some vision around what that looks like. And it also sounds like there's, well, maybe there's 2 more. It also sounds like there's a needed proposal for the Crown Heights Library for the participatory budgeting. And I'm concerned, I just want to make sure that that gets addressed if that's an important need. And then, to your point, Naomi, if there's a readathon, would love to hear more details around that. And maybe that's a next time thing.
Anybody else got any feedback, comments, concerns, lovely words?
No feedback, but I would be willing to partner with you, Erin, if you want to connect and talk about what a potential listening tour could look like.
That would be great. I don't know how we get each other's emails or whatever.
He was supposed to work on that. So I think what's best practice is, Erin, you send Dante an email and he'll send, and Maureen, you send Dante an email, and then can probably put both of them coming from him, your 2 emails together. Okay, let me say a different way. What he's gonna probably do is add your information, ask, can your information be used to you, and then share it between the 2 of you. But coming from the district manager, which is Dante. So I don't want to, because for me, it's fine, but I know legalities. So just send Dante an email and tell him that that you want to switch information with Erin and Maureen, and that's not a problem. Jamie, anything? Okay.
Nope, just soaking it up and learning. Thank you.
Oh, no problem. So next time that we come together, we're gonna do our best to make sure everybody's reminded of the meeting for November. I would hate to have lovely people come and nobody show up to the house. So hopefully I should have some information on when they're coming. We're just waiting. I'm just waiting for feedback for those 2. And then, like I said, there's more to come. We're just getting started. So if there's no questions, comments, and concerns, y'all have a lovely good night.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
No, thank you.
Do a motion. Oh, a motion to end the meeting.
I, Naomi Baptiste, motion to end the meeting.
Yes, you also need a second.
Yes.
Second.
So you seconded, brother? Somebody.
Second.
Oh, I said second also.
Thank you. And we're gonna go over the Robert's Rules of Order the next time we come together, because that motion, second, adjourned. We'll
Okay.
go over it.
Oh, can I say one more thing? If anyone in this group is interested in working in the mural project, by all means, please contact me or contact the board to get in contact with me so we could explain it further, so we will explore it further. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nicholas. I'll spread the word. Thank you, Mr. Khalid.
You're welcome. Have a good night, everyone.
You too. Thank you. Bye-bye.